Recording? Am I recording now? Yep. And am I recording now? Yep. And these are out of the way. And I believe we're about ready to go. And this Penn Point is going to be brought to you by Netflix. And I want to talk about Rand Paul. And I'm not going to defend Rand Paul. I'm just not going to. If you think I'm going to do something about his civil rights and that whole thing, I'm just not going to do that. You're not going to get me with some racist tag. You're not going to get me supporting Rand Paul. I just don't know that much about him. But I did read the editorials, a few of the editorials in the New York Times. I did not read the editorial on CNN, which I guess is pro Rand Paul. But what really interested me about, I guess I read an editorial in the Chicago Tribune, and I also read it in the New York Times, is that the attacks they're doing on Rand Paul, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be attacked. I believe he's Christian, you know, Christian right. And if there's one thing I ain't, it's Christian right. I am not a Christian. If I ever made that clear to you, I'm an atheist. So if he's a Christian, I disagree with him. And that disagreement is so fundamental. I also believe that Rand Paul believes, and I mean also, how can they say he's a follower of Ayn Rand? How can, I know his name is Randall and he's abbreviated Rand, it's nothing to do with Ayn Rand, but how can he claim to be a follower of Ayn Rand when if Ayn Rand was one thing, she was an atheist? She was actually two things. She was small. She was actually three things. She was also a slut. And I love all those things about her, but atheism is at the top of the list. So Rand Paul is not a follower of Ayn Rand because he's not an atheist. Okay. But what really troubled me about these one or two attacks about him was they didn't attack what he said about civil rights and whether that was the federal government's business. They didn't attack that at all. They didn't attack at all that decision. What they talked about was his tin ear for politics. This is my bad ear. This ear you can actually see got cut off. They had to peel it over here and do surgery inside my head. But that's time for another Penn Point will be about them cutting off my ear. But they said he has a tin ear for politics. They said he doesn't have a sense of what the people want to hear and how crazy he was, how fucking crazy he was to say something like that everybody would object to. If there's one thing I want out of politicians, it's for them to have a tin ear. I am so refreshed that someone is saying something they believe and not just what they want people to hear. So yes, I do not agree with Rand Paul on very much, but please, please, politicians out there, please start saying what you believe instead of what you think we want to hear. Wouldn't that be a lot better? Wouldn't it be a lot better if people just had some sort of political philosophy and stuck with it? And they're also attacking him for the childish thing of having principles and believing in them instead of just going with whatever is pragmatic and whatever sounds good to the voting public. And that kind of doing whatever sounds good instead of what's in your heart is what gives us these American Idol fucking politicians that don't have any sort of center or any sort of point of view. They just say whatever they think people want to hear. I mean, Jesus Christ. Did we learn anything from Obama? Just telling people what they wanted to hear and then going on and continuing doing pretty much most of the stuff Bush did. So Rand Paul, I don't agree with you. I'm not a Christian, and neither was Ayn Rand. I'm not a Christian. Don't agree with you on any of that. Probably don't agree with you on civil rights, but it's only because of ignorance. But I do think that those who attack you for just having a tin ear about politics are actually, in my mind, singing your praises. This Penn Point was brought to you by Netflix. Let me tell you a little bit about it.
Netflix delivers movies directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle. Watch as many movies as you want. Shipping is free. There are never any late fees or no due dates. Keep the movies as long as you like. DVDs by mail, plus instantly right to your TV. Get unlimited movies 2 ways for only $8.99 a month. But as a new member and a Penn Point viewer, you can get a free trial membership.
And go check it out, man. I mean, go to the website, go to netflix.com/Penn. And finally, he asked me what I think of the Arizona law. And I figure this is a trick question on the George Lopez Show.